Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nidal Fadilah with NIM 5554230074 from Sharia of Economy at University of Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, and I want to tell you the material about worksheet in accounting. And this task is for computer application with lecturer Miss Nani. Let's move on to the material. So, you must know what is worksheet. An accounting worksheet is a tool used by accountants and bookkeepers to facilitate the preparation of financial statements and the analysis of account balances. There has any steps for you to making a worksheet. The first step is prepare a trial balance on the worksheet. The second is enter adjustment data. The third is enter adjusted balances. The fourth is extend adjusted balances to appropriate statement columns. And the last or the fifth is total the statement columns to compute net income or net loss and complete the worksheet. The first step is prepare a trial balance on the worksheet. Before that, you must know, a trial balance is a bookkeeping worksheet in which the balances of all ledgers are compiled into debit and credit account columns totals that are equal. A company prepares a trial balances periodically, usually at the end of every reporting period. The general purpose of producing a trial balance is to ensure that the entries in company's bookkeeping system are mathematically correct. Basically, trial balance is from the general ledger. Okay, you can put the account titles and the amount is from the general ledger, and then the totals must be balanced. If not, there is something wrong with your general ledger or general journal. Okay, before we move to the next step, there is an adjusting journal entries. Adjusting entries are journal entries made at the end of an accounting period to update the balances in the general ledger accounts. These entries are necessary to correct errors in the initial version of the trial balance and to bring the financial statements into compliance with accounting standards. Adjusting entries typically include those for prepaid and accrued expenses, as well as non-cash expenses like depreciation. So this is the example for adjusting journal entries. There is supplies expense to supplies is to record supplies used. There is insurance expense to prepare insurance is to record insurance expired. And then depreciation expense to accumulated depreciation equipment is to record monthly depreciation. And then unearned service revenue to service revenue is to record revenue for services performed. And then accounts receivable to service revenue is to record revenue for services performed. And then interest expense to interest payable is to record interest on notes payable. And the last is there is a salaries and wages expense to salaries and wages payable is to record accrued salaries and wages. Okay, so this is the step 2 is enter the adjustment in the adjustment columns. Okay, you can put the adjustment columns from before and add the additional account which hasn't existed before. And there is 7 things that you must be adjusted. Okay, there is supplies used, and then insurance expired, depreciation expense, service revenue recognized, and service revenue accrued, interest accrued, and salaries accrued. After that, you can calculate the trial balance with the adjustments in the next step. Okay, so there is an adjusted trial balance. It's a listing of the ending balances in all accounts after adjusting entries have been prepared. The adjusted trial balance is essentially a summary balance listing of all the accounts in the general ledger. The adjusted trial balance is used to prepare financial statements and is an important internal document for financial professionals. For the example, there is supplies in the trial balance. The amount is 2,500 in the debit, and in the adjustments is 1,500 in the credit. So if the beginning is in debit and the ending is in credit, you can minus it, and vice versa. If the beginning is in credit and the ending is in debit, you can minus it. But if the beginning is in debit and the ending is in debit, you can plus it, and vice versa. Okay, so next is after you minus it, like 2,500 minus 1,500, the total is 1,000. You put that into the adjusted trial balance. After you calculate all of the account titles, you must calculate all of the adjusted trial balance, and it must be balanced. If not, there is something wrong with your calculated between the trial balance and the adjustments. Okay, so we move to the next step. Okay, the step 4 is extend amounts to financial statement columns. Financial statement, there is income statement and balance sheet. Okay, but we must know that assets, liabilities, and equity, you can put them in the balance sheet, and for expenses and revenue, you can put in the income statement. If you are not know what is assets, liabilities, and equity, or expenses and revenue, so the assets is include like cash, supplies, prepaid insurance, equipment, accumulated depreciation equipment, and the liabilities is notes payable, accounts payable, unearned revenue, and then I'm sorry, for the assets there is cash, supplies, prepaid insurance, equipment, accumulated depreciation, accounts receivable. Okay, for the liabilities is notes payable, accounts payable, interest payable, salaries and wages payable, and for the equity is owner's capital and owner's drawings. For the expenses, there is a salaries and wages expenses, rent expense, supplies expense, insurance expense, depreciation expense, interest expense. And for this revenues is service revenue if in Indonesia is like perusahaan jasa. Okay. After you put the the assets, liabilities, and equity in balance sheets, you calculate all of the balance sheets, and you can calculate all of the income statements. And don't worry if the first total is not balanced, because you have to know the net income by the difference or in Indonesia is selisih. And we moved on into the next step. Okay. So, if the difference of income statement in debit, it means we have a net income. If in credit, we get net loss. And you must take a note. The difference in income statement and balance sheet is must the same, like in this case is 2,860 is balanced, right? And if not the same or equal, you are not balanced. Okay. And that's my explanation for this material. If I have any mistakes, you can reply at the column comments, and like this video if you are interested. And thank you very much. Bye bye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.